Hi, Scripties. Welcome to Season 2, Episode 8 of Scripts and Screens. I'm Ashana Robinson.
And I'm Imani Nicole.
Imani, what is new in the TV world?
Okay, so what's new in the TV world is that the trailer for the live action Snow White, which is supposed to be released next year, was released. And it's gotten so much backlash for numerous reasons, not limited to the choice in actress for the film. Of course, she's not a white woman, so everyone was up in arms. And they made the Seven Dwarfs CGI. So they're like not actually going to be actors. The trailer received 69,000 likes and 738,000 dislikes on YouTube.
Oh my gosh.
How do you feel about it?
Not 738,000 dislikes.
No, deadass. I'm like, should you guys even continue?
Right.
Is it going to make any money?
See, that's why when they say like no publicity is bad publicity, because I had no reason to go seek out this trailer, but now that they have that many likes, I feel like I have to actually go watch and see why people don't like it. But I don't like the idea of replacing real actors with more AI, but I do know that that's going to be the norm for now, because they could have easily found people to play the dwarfs, but this is free and CGI doesn't have rights or make demands or anything like that, so you know they're gonna go that route. And it's really sad.
Yeah, it's the easier. Yeah, it's the easier way. I just feel like in this new age, I feel like it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. Like people are gonna find a way to complain no matter what. Like I feel like people even complain when Margot Robbie was casted as Barbie, and I don't think you can get anyone more Barbie than her. Like I can't think of one Caucasian woman that looks more like Barbie than her. Like she's so pretty. I don't know, but I probably will go see this. But in all honesty, Snow White is like bottom of the barrel of Disney princesses for me personally. Like she's on the lower end of the totem pole. I really don't care for her. But I'm ready for like a live action Rapunzel. And like since they're doing so many switch ups, I want her to be black, and I want her to have a 40-inch bust down. And I want her to possibly like, I don't know if I want the enemy to be Dr. Miracle and like he permed her hair and that's why it's so long. And if she would have just stuck to her natural hair, it would have been like big and curly. I don't know. Like, I don't know. I'm a mess and I don't know what's wrong with me, but like Tubi should make that a movie.
Yeah, Tubi is perfect for that. But no, you're not super off. Me and Avery, she watches this show called Moon Girl and her devil dinosaur. It sounded weird. But I remember watching an episode. It's a little black girl and she's a fro. She has a fro and she wanted her hair straight. And like she puts a relaxer in it and like it's cool at first, but then like the hair and relaxer literally turns into like a monster and she has to like defeat it. Yeah. It was so cute, but I really liked watching it because of the representation, which I guess that's what you're looking into too, like the bust down black girl, Dr. Miracle. That's definitely representation for us.
No, for sure.
So yeah, no, that's not too far fetched. I think that would be a good spin on a Rapunzel.
Yeah, we'll see what they do with the Snow White.
Tyler Perry, go ahead.
Right, look, you make it, they gonna watch it, Tyler.
No, I don't trust him with no 40-inch bust down. Let me stop. I shouldn't have said that.
Why you don't trust him? The way Medea had all them wigs in rotation. He is
the only wigs that he's known for not doing good wigs in his shows. And I don't sit with that 40-inch bust.
Look, it better be bring your own wig. Like Taraji had to bring her own red bottoms when they made that one film.
Oh, really?
I think so, only because, and like, Lord forgive me, because I don't have a pair of red bottoms, so I really should be quiet. But like, I just am not about to pay $800 for a shoe and like the bottom wear off. Like, it's just, I'm not feeling that. And like in the movie, I'm pretty sure it was the movie that she had. Was it Taraji and Tiffany Haddish in that one movie together? Do you know what I'm talking about? It was a Tyler Perry movie. And it was the movie where he gifted Tiffany Haddish a car because of her role in the movie. Yes.
Oh, I gotta look that up.
It's not ringing bells.
The Taraji I'm thinking of is I Can Do Bad All By Myself.
No. Let me see. I'm about to look up the name. Okay, I don't think that exists. So, I don't know. But they're actually not in the movie together. I don't know what's going on. But there's a movie. There's a movie where Taraji has on red bottoms and she's like has her knees on the couch, and I forgot what she was like. She was looking for something, and the bottom of the red bottom is worn down. And I'm just like, I think it was a Tyler Perry movie. Maybe it's that one where she goes acrimony. I can't really remember.
Oh, okay.
But part of me is just like, I'm not spending that much money on a shoe that the bottom can wear off. Like, if it doesn't come with an unlimited warranty where I can just keep sending them hoes in to get repainted.
Yeah.
Then I don't know.
I never understood
like
that
Tyler
too.
I feel like Tyler's not about to be buying everybody red bottoms for the set. Like, it's just, it's not that crucial for the movie. But yeah, so I could see him, if he's not buying wigs, then, I mean, if he wasn't buying shoes, he ain't buying wigs. Like, he's probably told them, go on Amazon, get what you can get, and let's get filming.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Oh, Tyler, if you ever listen to this, I'm sorry.
We love you.
We love you, but
you're a pioneer in the field. We respect you.
But yeah. All right. So moving on to our first pick of the week. It is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. Pip Fitz-Amobi is unsure whether schoolgirl Andy Bell was killed by her boyfriend Sal Singh 5 years ago. They must see how far they will go to protect Pip from learning the truth if Sal Singh turns out not to be the murderer. This series is rated 81% on Rotten Tomatoes and a 6.8 on IMDb. So, to me, this show was very underwhelming until like the second to last episode. I think Utopia is a hard series to follow up since, we did that, last time, and going from Utopia to this, I was expecting more the way it sat at number 1 on Netflix, but I just need to not trust Netflix because clearly, after we know a Hitman, being number 1 means nothing. I think people just see people watching it and they're like, oh, let me click on this. And then that's how it becomes number 1. Not that it's actually really good.
Yeah, I think their rating system is definitely based off how many people are watching, like viewers. I didn't really have any expectations. I saw the cover, never planned on watching. I'm not really a murder mystery girl. Like, that's not really my realm. Like, I'm definitely a romantic girly, a horror film girly. Like, I'm not really a crime. Like, I'm not that girl that listens to crime podcasts. Like, I know people who do that, and that's like their thing. Or like watch Snapped. I really could care less. Like, if someone's listening to it or watching, I'll definitely watch, but it's not something I seek out.
You seek out, yeah.
Yeah, so I enjoyed it. I thought it was a cute little series. I do think 81% is a little high. It was definitely giving me like C+ vibes, like a 78%.
Yeah, no, I can agree with that C+ rating. But I just want to know why Pip felt like she could trust these murderers. Like, she literally was pulling up on murderous drug dealers without a gun, a taser, nunchucks, nothing. Like, she didn't even have a phone.
Okay, he was pulling up with nunchucks, yo. Go ahead.
That would have helped her in some of these situations. But she didn't even have a phone when she pulled up on her English teacher. I think was his name, Mr. Elliott.
He put it in the car. She had to track it.
But still, she walked in the house with no phone.
She tried to open the door. It was locked, so she couldn't get that damn phone.
I wouldn't have went in the house. He was like, come on in. And I was like, I know she not. And she sure did. And then when she followed Becca Bell to the spot where she buried her murdered sister, I was like, girl, come on now.
Yeah, that didn't make sense. I feel like with the English teacher, it was her best friend's dad, so there was a long-standing relationship there.
Right, that's true.
And I think it was also too spur of the moment. Like, she heard him say he was going to be doing something, tutoring or something, and she was like, oh my God, like the bells kind of went off. So she was like, all right, leaves phone, but I do agree, like, she could have grabbed something, like a steak knife, butter knife, whatever the case may be. She could have grabbed something, because Lord knows after school, whenever I was home alone, if I heard a creak in those steps, I ran downstairs, grabbed a steak knife, and that shit was sitting right by the nightstand. And I was probably going to get it used on me, but either way, like, I was ready.
Yeah, right.
I was ready to go. So it's crazy though, because I knew he had something to do. Like, I didn't know he killed Sal, but I knew for a fact he had something to do with Andy, because I don't know, they kind of painted it for that. Like, even when the two girls were like talking, he was like, what are you girls talking about? And I don't know, like, everything was kind of pointing to him. I just didn't think that he had killed Sal.
Right.
And then I also, I thought maybe Sal's brother was in on it, and that he saw Andy hook up with, like, cheat on his brother, and like just lost it. And I felt that he was maybe entertaining Pip because he liked her, and like this was a way for them to like spend time and bond. So like, who did you think was the killer, or like what was your theory on what had happened?
Okay, well, for one, I do get what you were saying about the trust thing. Like you said, she wasn't prepared at all. And like, even when they were out looking for the dog, and she just suggested they split up. I was expecting her black dad to at least be like, nah, because he's, that's what we do as people of color. But he definitely was with her foolery too. I was so confused. But then when I think about it, he wouldn't have been aware of how deep Pip had gotten herself into this for him to have any type of real fear. So I couldn't blame him for his lack of preparedness or his lack of. But as far as who I thought the killer was, I honestly thought Andy was still alive. Like I was expecting them to find her alive, especially when the signs started pointing to the English teacher, Dr. Elliot. I thought it was going to be like Cruel Summer, that first season, where they were looking for that girl for years, and she literally was in the teacher's house the entire time.
Yeah, true.
Like I really, and then when he had the girl upstairs, I was like, "Yep, that's it. That's Andy. She's upstairs."
Yeah.
But he had
and
a
they
whole
painted it
girl.
like that,
right?
They painted it like that because she like walked into the door and was like, "Shh." Okay, another question. Did you find it weird how young they had Pip and then Pip older? I'm like, I mean, yes, a face changes in 5 years, but damn it, Pip looked like she was in first grade.
Yeah, they had Pip looking, because I think I did the math too, because I was like, all right, this was 5 years ago. So was she like 11?
Yeah, I'm like, she looks completely, that little girl compared to who we saw. Like, yes, I get that women change, but like, that was crazy. They should have found someone a slight bit older or more mature looking than that little girl. Because I was confused while she was at her locker turning the tables, and Sal is like, where did such and such go? I'm like, what is, like, the age gap looked too crazy on film for me. Like, way too crazy.
Especially since they kept Becca Bell around the same looking age. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think Becca Bell, I don't know if she was twins with Andy, but it's like, okay, so you look the same for the past 5 years, but y'all got Pip looking completely different.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, that didn't make any sense
at all.
Okay, now let's talk about the true killer, her damn sister. I'm sorry, but that was the absolute worst plot twist and so far-fetched. Like, I'm going to kill my sister because she won't go to the police to turn in a guy that raped me that I sold drugs to, but I'm not going to do a damn thing to my rapist, but I'm going to kill my sister. Please be for real. Like, how did you feel about that twist? Because I thought it was stupid as hell.
Yeah, it was a mess. Of course, I don't think Becca was actually trying to kill her. The head injury that Andy had from Elliot's house was already really bad. And then, like, when she tussled with Becca, that was just the icing on the cake. But the fact that she did not try to call 911 or anything to help her sister was crazy. Like, even if I did accidentally think I hurt my sister, I'm still going to try to help her. Because I think if she would have called 911, it would have been a completely different thing. But she drug her out to some spot like she was plotting on killing her the whole time.
Right. Like, I was, but like, I already knew this secret place. And she was like, crazy thing is, Andy showed me this place. Like, girl, you're going to hell.
Right.
Or even just calling your parent. Like, I could see freaking out in the moment and maybe not calling 911, but calling like, Dad, Andy's head's bleeding. Like, you know what I mean? Like, something.
Like, what's that boy's name? Adam from Your Honor. Letting his dad know.
Yeah, like, make it make sense. So, the next thing that I wanted to ask you was, like, what was your favorite scene or highlight about this series? And if you absolutely didn't enjoy it, what do you wish they would have changed or done? Since, I know you do have that writer's hat, how would you have taken it if you don't have a favorite scene?
I think my favorite scene where the show kind of switched for me, because like I said, it was kind of like lackluster, and then it kind of turned up toward the end. I think my favorite scene was where Naomi called Pip's phone, and Pip made the connection that Mr. Elliot was involved. So I think she called his phone from her phone was destroyed by the other guy, Max Hastings, the one that had raped Becca. So she called from old phone of her dad's, and it popped up as secret older guy in Pip's phone.
Yeah.
So that's how she connected. That probably was my favorite scene. Overall, Pip really got on my nerves as a character. With her,
she didn't get on my nerves.
Yeah, I don't know. With her, just her lack of preparedness when approaching people and calling people out. But then I do know, like, the first thing they tell you, like, about writing is character makes the plot. So it means, like, the character flaws are what actually drive the show and keep it going. So she has to have had that in order for the show to kind of, progress the way it did. And I don't know if you watched.
I guess because I'm naive, so.
Yeah.
So I'm not. I don't notice the little details. Like, whenever we talk about this and you like connect dots, I never connect them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I feel like when you be pointing something out, I'll be like, oh shoot, I didn't even see that, or I didn't even think of that. Like, I'm very like kind of naive, like over the head with it.
Or maybe I don't want to say naive. Maybe just like surface
Yeah.
level, maybe.
I
But
feel like
Pip
you're about to
reminds
ask me about a show. Is it Blood and Water?
Yes, Poolang and Pip give the same energy.
Okay, I've never seen Blood and Water, but I heard a lot about it, and I know a lot of people watch it, and they love
Yeah,
it. But yes, I've
Poolang
never.
and
But
Pip are Poolang is the African Pip.
Poulet.
I
Okay, so
love it. That's
they're
how they say her name too, Poolang.
Poulet. So they're like
Yes.
fraternal twins. Okay, got it.
Basically, yes. Because if it's a secret and somebody gonna be nosy and dig it up and find the truth, Pip and Poolang. If her name start with a P, she know the C.
No,
Yes.
literally.
Yeah, they give the same energy. But what was your favorite scene?
So for me, it was the scene with Pip and her mom, Leanne, when Pip said to her, I think sometimes I have more in common with Victor than my real dad. And I think that makes you sad. And her mom said, it makes me sad, but it also makes me really happy. I think that was like one of the best depictions on film that I've ever seen of like someone who loves two people, or even a conversation between like a mom and daughter with a parent that has passed away at a very early age. And in this case, she was one when her dad died. So she didn't really know him. So like Victor's all she's ever known. And she called him dad. And I was kind of wondering the dynamic, because clearly it looked like the brother was from the dad, but she was clearly not from the dad. So I was trying to like understand that dynamic. And then of course they came out and said it, that he had died. And I just thought that was like a really good depiction, because I do feel like there are kids who like their parents or their dad, their mom, whatever, dies, and like people ask them like, well, like, what about your mom? They're like, well, I don't really remember her. Like, that's my mom. Like, this is my mom. Like, this is who I've grown up with. So I really enjoyed that scene a lot.
No, I like that scene too. And as a parent that of a child that will eventually have a stepfather, you always want for your child to have like a good, healthy bond with the bonus parent. So for Pip's mom, that was probably one of the best things that she could have heard her say. Now,
oh yeah, for sure.
This, like with this series of things we watch and next week, it kind of makes me remember why we did Watch Your Shelf, even though we didn't have really time to read the books, because this is also a book too. And I always just wonder what they changed from the book to the show to make it more inclusive, for a different audience. I'm wondering, like, in the book, was this man black? Like Pip took his last name, like his last name was Amobi. She's Fitzamobi. Like, I wonder, I don't know. I just be wondering, like, what the bond and stuff look like in the actual book.
Yeah.
Versus
Well,
the
I
show.
think when I was looking it up, when I was looking it up, I forget, because I was trying to find out what episode that scene was and what time frame it was, and I couldn't find it. But they were talking about the book. So I think that the relationship was portrayed differently in the book.
Gotcha. Okay.
Like, I don't know if she actually called Victor dad in the book, like how she does in the show. But that was just one thing that I saw. Okay, moving on to our second plot and topic was the Instigators. So Rory and Cobby are unlikely partners thrown together for a heist. However, when it goes awry, they team up to outrun police, backward bureaucrats, and a vengeful crime boss. How did you like this film?
I liked it okay. The initial heist was the most pitiful and confusing thing I had ever seen. I remember watching the first scene, like, not the first scene, but the first heist. Like, Matt Damon really act like he ain't been in all those damn ocean movies. This should be, I know the characters aren't related, but it's just weird seeing Matt Damon act like he don't know what to do when it comes to stealing some money, some jewelry, some something. So, but yeah.
I forgot all about the ocean movies, but I know that those are classics. And I just feel like, oh my gosh, we're on opposite ends this week of like which ones we enjoyed, which ones we didn't. But it looks like Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb agree with you. Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 41%. And IMDb gave it 6.2. But actually, strangely, I really enjoyed this. Like, I like Matt Damon and Casey Affleck's bromance on screen. Because Matt Damon and Casey's brother Ben are actually like best friends in real life.
Oh, really? I didn't know this.
And I actually liked the heist part about like them like deciding to rob the mayor twice. I do agree it was super confusing. I think we could have done without the crime mob boss. Like, we could have did without Joaquin Phoenix. Even though he's such a dynamic actor and he plays any and every emotion very well on screen, it was unnecessary. We didn't need to have that many different plots going on. But this could be an unpopular opinion, but I think Casey Affleck is the hotter Affleck. What do you think? Are you team Ben or team Casey?
Well, I like mine a little darker hue. But I guess I could see that. Casey has more of a rougher
rugged
look.
kind of, yes, he does.
And I use that word loosely, but you think, well, I mean,
why? Because he's not bearded.
I mean, no, he did have a beard.
I know, but you're saying you're using it loosely, like there's a standard to like the ruggedness, and he's just touching
my
the surface.
standard is Fontaine from that's my rough
you
standard.
Cannot compare them.
I know, but that's when I think of like a rough, like that's what in my mind just I automatically just. But yeah, Casey, yeah, he cute. I would okay, yeah. If I had to pick one,
you're picking Casey over Ben, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought he looked super cute in the film. But this was a star-studded cast, and I enjoyed that too. I love seeing people from different films being on other projects together. Just makes me happy to see them on screen together. I really don't know why. But Jack Harlow, baby, I love you, but what was this? I feel like he should have brought Jack Harlow to this film, but we got Jackman Thomas Harlow. It got better as that's his real name. I had to look it up because I was like, he didn't give us Jack Harlow. What's his real name? Which I feel like Jack Harlow, the rap would bring what was needed in this film, but we got Jackman Thomas Harlow. And it got better as the film went on, but he definitely needs more practice. But good job for a first film. How do you feel like his performance was?
You know what? I was just shocked to see him because I didn't look too deep into the cast list. So I didn't realize he was in this until he literally popped up on the screen. So, I mean, for his first film, it's good. You can get him a little more practice. But I don't know why all these people want to dabble in acting. Like, I mean, I guess if you can do it, might as well.
Yeah, and it's the world. Everyone wants to be multifaceted. But I also think it's because like they do music videos, and music videos are sometimes almost acting.
True.
So I guess it's like them taking, film from a music video and then like being and like also being in a film with like Matt Damon, Casey Affleck, Hong Chow, like that's pretty major. There were so many people in this film, even the black guy, I forget his name, but he's in everything too.
Oh yeah, Ving Rhames, that's his name.
Yeah. So I enjoyed okay, did any of the characters, I'm sorry, I got a little jumbled. Did any of the characters stand out to you, or did anyone do a great job, or that you liked their on-screen persona from this movie?
Yes. Did you said Joaquin Phoenix?
Yeah, you think that is not, I think they look alike, Shawnee, but I do not think that was Jimmy Baxter.
He's on the cast list.
He looks so much like Joaquin Phoenix.
He does. Yeah, but then that is definitely Michael Stahlberg, if you Google it.
Oh, because I was going to tell you, like, they look so much alike, but I just knew that was Joaquin Phoenix. Oh my God, it is Michael Stahlberg. Oh, that's crazy, y'all. So what I said about Joaquin Phoenix, it was the man from Your Honor that plays the dad of Pia, whatever her name was. Oh yeah, that's crazy. They look a lot alike.
Yeah, they did. I think it's the hair too. Like the way that he has his hair now.
Yeah. Okay.
He's giving Joaquin Phoenix.
He's being Joaquin Phoenix all day long. I did not realize that.
Yes. But yeah, so that, I was surprised to see him. And I feel like that's gonna be like a trend. Like the more movies we watch, the more we like are recognizing people that we see from other things
and places. Yeah.
But every time I see Ron Perlman, I think of that meme. Do you know which one I'm talking about? Is where they have a cat next to him and they're like, this cat looks more like Ron Perlman than Ron Perlman.
No. And I don't even know who Ron Perlman is.
The mayor.
Oh, that's who played the mayor. Okay.
Yeah.
I knew he looked familiar, but I didn't know his acting name.
Yeah, so I'll have to send you that. And I think he was in that one episode of Mr. and Mrs. Smith too, if I'm not. They had kidnapped him. Wasn't that him? When they kidnapped him and took him in that cabin? I'm
probably.
Yeah.
I loved that show, but I can't remember. I know you're talking about when they were like in the cold and the snowmobiles and all that. Yeah, I just can't. I can't remember that detail about it, but but possible, very possible.
Yes, yeah, and that show has a lot of. I think it has like 18 Emmy nominations. It's a lot going on with that
Oh
show. Yeah, they're doing
wow.
really good. But I really did enjoy seeing Matt Damon on my screen. I just like seeing him on the screen anyway.
Yes.
I do believe this is the first Casey Affleck film I've seen.
Okay.
Is he in anything else you would know
I
right off
think
top?
he's in The Room. Do you remember The Room that got a lot of reviews
The
where that
Room.
woman was raising her kid it's in that small room? It
Mm-mm.
won like a I think it won an Oscar or something if I'm not
Okay.
mistaken.
The
But it looks
Room.
like he's not in that. So
I just have to.
I'm like dyslexic with pictures this week
It's
because I could have
okay.
sworn he was in The Room.
Let me
But
see.
oh, he was in Good Will Hunting, which I love that movie. I don't know if you've seen that with Matt Damon and Robin
Oh, so
Williams.
that's another one of him and Matt Damon. Okay.
Yep, I didn't even realize he was in that. So he must have a very minor role. Oh, he was in Ocean's 11. Didn't know that either.
Was he?
That's what this is saying. In 2001, he was in Ocean's 11.
I watched something recently. We've been watching something a whole lot. Like we
He
watch
was
a
in
lot of TV.
Oppenheimer. Where the hell was
Was
he
he?
at in Oppenheimer?
Okay, Imani, make sure I'm not crazy. Of course, we watch TV and movies all day long. But in something I watched recently, somebody asked them where they were from. And they was like, have you seen that movie, Good Will Hunting?
Yeah.
Was I in this movie?
What do you mean?
Like, it was somebody had asked the main character where they were from. And then they were like, have you seen that movie, Good
Oh.
Will Hunting? And they were like,
Oh, in
yeah.
this movie.
It might have been in this movie, which if it was in this movie, then that's funny because that's like a whole, like it's a
Yeah, because it's
inside
like we were
joke.
all in it together. It
Yeah.
might have been. I missed it if
Okay.
it was, but it could have
We
been.
watch so much at the
We
same
really
time. I
do.
be getting
Somebody asked me
confused.
today, what are we reviewing today? And I was like,
I don't even know.
I couldn't even. I was like, Eternal something and two other things, and I could
Yeah.
not think of the other two things for the life of me. So I completely get it.
Yeah.
Completely get it.
But yeah, I gotta go back and rewatch those because I don't remember seeing him in
Yeah, I
Oppenheimer.
don't remember seeing him either.
Mm-mm.
So that's crazy. It must have been very minor roles, which
Mm-hmm.
is actually shocking to me. Just looking at his cast list just now, that like he's not in that many things.
Yeah. Not at all.
Yeah, so maybe he's about to do some breaking out. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, he was getting on my nerves, but so the acting was good because I'm like, I'm not even
Yeah,
there with them and he getting on my nerves. So, but I
right,
like the
right. Like
fact
this
that
is
his
a threat.
character was annoying but resourceful and cunning. So that worked
Yes,
out for
yes.
them.
Yes, I enjoyed the triangle of Matt Damon, Casey Affleck, and my girl Hong Chow.
Mm-hmm.
So sorry if I'm saying your name wrong, girly. I liked the opening scene with Matt Damon and Hong Chow, which plays his therapist. They're having a therapy session, and it
Mm-hmm.
reminded me of our recent convo when he said he took an honest look at his life, and the truth is he fucks things up, and he's not blaming anyone or feeling sorry for himself. And then I don't know if you got this vibe, but the therapist loved Casey Affleck. Like she was checking for him, which I also find funny because as a therapist with all these tools, they still do the same goofy shit we do. So what's
Mm-hmm.
the point really besides having besides going to a therapist for an unbiased opinion?
Mm-hmm.
And I know you've done therapy before. So like what do you personally get from therapy? Because I know you've talked about how you've done it before previously.
Mm-hmm. And it's funny that you said she was checking for Casey because I felt like she was kind of checking for Matt Damon too at one point. Like at first, she was like, "I'm not gonna let him
Mm-hmm.
die." Like I mean, I know she was being a good therapist, but I feel like she was doing a little more because she actually
Yeah.
liked him.
Yeah, I think she
Um,
was feeling Casey, but it also gave vibes like she liked Matt. But at the ending scene, they
right,
were like sitting on the stoop.
right.
So
So
I'm
like
like,
it
oh,
was like
you
she
want
finally picked
Casey?
one.
Yeah,
She was on her belly stuff from
yeah, she was on her belly
Summer
for
I Chat.
sure.
Oh my gosh, I cannot wait to talk about that.
Connie and
Um,
Jer.
But basically, like you said, is your job as a pharmacist. Like, even if you don't choose to get the vaccine, your job is to basically educate the person and then
Mm-hmm.
administer it to others. So, like, of course, I
Mm-hmm.
want my therapist to do better and think highly of herself and just be an overall better person. But at the end of the day,
Mm-hmm.
she's human. And what she does behind closed doors really isn't my business. Like if she can
Mm-hmm.
provide me the tools that helps me improve my life and keep me off the
Mm-hmm.
edge, then she's doing her job. Now there are some therapists I'm like, how and why did you get into this
I'm
field?
weak.
Like it's literally this lady I know. that is a therapist, and I'd be wanting to call the board because there's no way she's helping anyone. There is absolutely
Not
no
call
way.
the board.
She's not helping nobody. You cannot know that she is not helping anybody. But overall, my therapist really opened my mind and kind of expanded my horizons to help me make better choices. Okay. I mean, I don't always make the best, but I have seen growth since being in therapy. And it's just someone to hold you accountable, kind of like a gym partner. Somebody checking in, like, you go to the gym today?
Right. How long you go for? Where'd you eat today? So yeah, that definitely makes sense.
All right. Well, on to our last one, which was recommended by Paris, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. After a painful breakup, Clementine, played by Kate Winslet, undergoes a procedure to erase memories of her former boyfriend, Joel, played by Jim Carrey, from her mind. When Joel discovers that Clementine is going to extremes to forget their relationship, he undergoes the same procedure and slowly begins to forget the woman that he loved. This movie was recommended by Paris, who described it as a unique spin on a romance by combining romance with sci-fi. I completely forgot how much of a star-studded cast this has. In addition to Jim Carrey and Kate Winslet, we had Elijah Wood, Kirsten Dunst, and Mark Ruffalo. Paris literally was like, Torrance, Frodo, and the Hulk. I'm like, yeah, they got the whole cast. So basically, for the listeners, if you haven't seen it, the gist of this movie is that you can have someone erased from your memory. So, for example, I'm currently dating Vlad. If Vlad and I break up, I would collect everything in my house that reminds me of him, which is photos, diary entries, gifts, etc. Technicians would come to my home, discard the items, and then erase him from my memory. They would send out notes to my family and friends, basically telling them, don't ever speak of him again because she doesn't know him. And then Keke Palmer voice, sorry to this man, I don't know him. And the title comes from an Alexander Pope quote that says, how happy is the blameless vessel's lot, the world forgetting by the world forgot. Eternal sunshine of the spotless mind, the world forgetting by the world forgot.
Yeah, I had never heard of this film. And then when you said we were watching it, I was kind of blown. I'm like, this old ass film. But I actually really enjoyed it. And I haven't seen too many Jim Carrey movies. Like if it's not The Grinch Who Stole Christmas or even Titanic for Naomi, I don't I don't really watch things that they've been on. And I don't get super excited when I see their names. But I recognize anytime I see them on my screen, and I loved the movie and would watch it again. And I definitely think they deserve their flowers. And it did win an Oscar for Best Original Screenplay. So I'm completely happy about that.
Your parents also said it was strange seeing Jim Carrey as a leading man in a romance film, but this actually works. This is also a film they teach in a lot of film classes. It was directed by Michael Goundry, who's also a music video director. And after rewatching this with this in mind, you can see how the visuals really do scream music video. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Like the different scenes, and I remember one time it was like a red. It gave music video in some of the scenes. So Paris wants to know, is this something that you would do? Would you erase someone for your memory? And how would you feel if someone erased you?
So in the context that I saw in this movie, no, I wouldn't erase anyone, but I also haven't had any super tumultuous relationships or super crazy things happen, like things that we've discussed on this podcast. My baby daddy has never killed my brother in a hit and run, or even looking back at Divorce in the Black with what she was going through, or how they never had one happy moment. Or even a Love Lies Bleeding situation. We've seen some very tumultuous, toxic relationships play out on screen.
Yes.
And I think it's important to feel your emotions. So if someone erased me, I definitely feel like my ego would come into play in two ways. One, I had you so sick that literally we went to a doctor to wipe your memory. Sheesh, I clearly did a number on you. And then on the other hand, it's the procedure won't work, baby, because I'm me. You're never gonna forget me. I don't care how many procedures that ass do. You're not gonna forget Imani Nicole. You're just not. So I don't care if you go 20 years without thinking about me. On that 21st year, you're gonna wake up and your heart is gonna be hurting, and you're not even. You're not. All you're gonna see is little splurts, So it got me thinking though. if you would do the same. But it also made me think of like, if you could see a snippet, like not necessarily get your mind erased after a situation, but if someone could show you like, hey, if you talk to this person, this is how it's going to pan out. Would you want to see the snippet of how your life will be with that person, or no, you'd rather just see what happens?
Okay, so for your first question, I don't know. Again, I think I haven't had anybody that I've been like, I don't need to know you anymore. Yeah. And I think for people that have dated, like I've learned from them. Like even if we went our separate ways,
didn't work out,
added to my life in some form or fashion.
Capacity.
So if I'm like erasing them, I feel like I'm kind of taking a part of me away.
Right, I can see that.
But as far as looking into the future, I think it'd be pointless because I'm a big believer in like the ripple effect. So I feel like if I knew what was going to happen, I would make a choice in some other part of my life that will alter the whole thing, if that makes sense. Like if I see that I'm going to marry Jalen Hurts, which if that's in my future, bring it, Lord. My ass
we can't be friends anymore if you marry Jalen.
Why?
Because I love him too.
Girl, you better find somebody else.
Anyway. Hey, no, I'm sure he got a cousin. You're right. I'm sure he got a cousin. I'm gonna be like, Jalen, help your girl out.
Right.
That man is so fine though. And there was somebody that doesn't even think he's that cute. I said, you're blind. Ooh. You don't think Jalen Hurts is attractive? It was someone at my job. They were like, I think it was Shayla. Shayla was like, Jalen Hurts. I'm like, you're insane.
Shayla.
I think she even had the nerve. Now, this part I could be lying about, but that first part I'm not. I think she even said Dak Prescott looks better, and I almost left the job.
Shayla, I am a Cowboys fan, but how dare you? How dare you? I love
Jalen. Or it might have been Deja. It's either Deja or Shayla. Somebody at my job had the nerve to say that man won't find, and I was like, "You're crazy."
Shayla and Deja, whoever is listening, whichever one, y'all should be ashamed because ain't no way God put that man together by him, just handcrafted. Jalen Hurts,
custom made.
Yes, but I feel like if I saw that I was going to end up with Jalen Hurts, my ass would be buying Eagles gear and making random trips to Philly, trying to bump into him. Which would
let's speed this up.
Right, which would probably alter us being together. Yeah, and even if I'm consciously like trying not to mess things up, like, all right, Shauna, keep on working here in Virginia. I think my subconscious would kind of be like making decisions with this newfound knowledge.
True. So I didn't even think of that, but that makes so much sense. Yeah. Like, because you now you're no longer like blind to it, so you don't even know what decisions you would have made blindly because you have intel. It's like, oh, I saw that I was gonna trip in the woods, so I'm gonna bring a flashlight because I didn't have a flashlight the first time. Like, I see what you're saying. It makes complete sense.
So I don't think I do that, but in the twist, we see that Kirsten Dunst's character Mary seemed like she had a crush on Dr. Howard, although she was currently sneaking around with Mark Ruffalo's character Stan. It is revealed that Mary and Dr. Howard had previously had an affair, and she opted to have him erased from her memory. It doesn't seem like the procedure actually works for a clean break as intended, based on Mary's deep feelings for Dr. Howard and Clementine being able to be reminded of Joel. Harris noted that the characters were still drawn almost immediately back to each other despite having the procedure and erasing all of their memories. I personally would need my money back because if I did all that, I would not want to remember that man at all. And Paris also brought this up. She said the whole ethics of the situation, like the way they were being so unprofessional while he was getting his brain erased. Like they were drinking, having sex, and then Patrick, Elijah Wood's character, using Clementine's information obtained during her procedure to date her.
Yeah,
like, it was very predatory, and I would need a refund. Refund me, please.
No, I feel that it better have been covered under insurance, 100%, $0 copay, because to have it all rushing back, and now I've gone through it twice, that pain, when in reality, if I didn't do this procedure, it would have only been once.
I didn't even think about that.
So bad for my girl, Kristen. Like, I felt so bad because she was so bubbly and happy. And she was like, it's such a good thing that what he does for people. Like, he really is helping people. And then, and willing to take the blame for the affair the second time around when the wife's like, did it. And she's like, no, I'm just a stupid girl and I'm in love with him, but he didn't do anything. Like, and the doctor just helped the case. He just pushed the case that once a cheater, always a cheater, because he was right in that kitchen about to repeat the very thing he erased from her mind. Like, He's just dumb. So I do also feel like, though, is if you're hanging around a man day after day, like if a woman is hanging around my man day after day, the man is going to cave. Like and I think it goes for women too. Like I think it's just law of attraction. I do feel like time makes such a difference, though. And do you think time heals?
I definitely agree with the first thing you said too about every day. Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yes.
every single day. Like I think subconsciously he's gonna at least think about it. He may not act on it, but he's going to think about it.
Yep. I do think time heals, and I also do feel like she was coerced into having that procedure. Mary was. This was confirmed for me when they were playing the tape of her sessions, and she definitely was struggling. Like, oh, Howie, I can't do this, and then he's in the background, like, yeah, encouraging her to keep going. And I just feel like the wife was probably planning to leave, and Dr. Howard was like, "No, baby, I'll just erase her brain." I think that was what he was gonna do to keep his wife. So, do you think time heals?
I feel like time heals. I think it provides clarity. I think that's the one thing that time really does, is it just really gives you clarity. Like I just think about past situations where I was really so locked in at the time, and presently it could be no connection at all. And that does scare me. But then I also think about how the saying goes, like the person was there for a reason and a season. And I like to think, though, when I get married, it'll be a different kind of bond, like one that just isn't going to be broken, one that like time can't heal, but hopefully never has to. So not saying I want this because I may have grandkids and kids and I need to be around for them. But like those couples where like the wife or the husband pass, and then like shortly after the wife will pass or the husband will pass just due to grief. And like, I just feel like that's going to be my future. But I hope that it's when I'm like 98, just so that I can see everything if I have children one day, which I hope to.
Yeah. I know I'm really trying to die old in my sleep with my husband, like Noah and Allie from The Notebook.
Yes.
How they just died together in the sleep. Like, that just take me, cute. Lord. Like, when we old, make sure we old though. Don't try to be doing it in a couple years, Lord.
I don't want to meet you when I'm young.
Right. But yeah, that's my perfect ideal way to go. It's just me and my husband together in the sleep. But all in all, Paris loved the movie and the fact that Joel and Clementine were still willing to experience each other again, even after knowing that it did not work out the first time. And I would definitely have to agree with that.
Yeah, it was very cute. I have like a couple more questions for you. So I wanted to know if you ever had a diary. I wanted to have a diary. I bought the little diaries, and every time it would get like 1 or 2 entries, and then I was over it. So I feel like if I ever have a memoir, it's going to be very hard to write because like, I don't know, I just cannot get with the concept of like everyday writing. Like, did you have a diary growing up?
I still have one.
Oh, wow. Do you write in it every day?
Not every day. It's actually was recommended by my therapist. That's another thing that she suggested. I do have one. I don't write in it every day. I think I wrote in it yesterday morning. And then before that, it was like a couple days, but it had been like a year. This year been crazy for me, but I hadn't wrote in it. But yes, I have a diary. Well, a journal. I call it a journal now, I guess, because I'm old.
Yeah, true. Journal. You're grown, so it's a journal. Another thing that I thought about when I was watching this is like the tunes in the car hit different when you've gone through it. And I just wanted to know, like, who's your go-to artist that you listen to when you're sad? Or that song you just put on replay when your heart's in shambles?
I don't think I have. I think it's specific to the man, if that makes sense. Like, Vlad and I have certain songs, like when we going through it, I'm a weirdo, y'all. That's why I'm in therapy, y'all, because I ain't right in the head. But like, we have specific songs. So if we're like going through it, I like encourage the crying by playing that song. But I think it's also, for me, it's like, all right, if I force myself to listen to it now while I'm sad, if I hear it out in public, I'm not gonna lose my mind.
Yeah, you'll have it together. I can get it out now.
Yeah. So I think it really just depends on the man, like the song that I associate with that man. It's not like it's not like I pull out Mary J. or Keisha Cole.
Yeah, like you have a standard artist.
Do you?
Yeah, I'm a big Roy Woods girly, but like that's just who I like in general. But like, yeah, I remember like very specifically in college when I went through like my first real relationship breakup, I had Roy Woods on repeat. And like I was singing that with my chest. Like I love me some Roy Woods. He's a Canadian artist and like I just love him. So the last thing that I wanted to talk to you about was like I think what we don't see a lot of times in film and even in real life, like I don't really know too many, you might know somebody, but I feel like in the beginning scenes, Clementine love bombed Joel. And I just thought that was so interesting because you don't see that. Like, I've never heard of any of my friends love bombing their guys. And like, I've never seen it on film. And like, she was basically like, oh, call me at this time. And like, oh, did you have fun last night? Like, I feel like just doing everything that a guy would do or like what we see guys normally do in love bombing.
Yeah, no, she definitely was the aggressor. She definitely was like, she was doing too much for me.
She was.
She was doing too much for me.
She was doing a lot.
But yeah, she was.
And part of me thought like, okay, so you know when Elijah first pulled up, Elijah Wood, I forget his character's name, pulled up to the car while he was waiting for her to get her toothbrush. And he was like, what are you doing here? Right? I thought that Clementine was staying in like I don't want to say a psychiatric place, but like a place where she has like she can come and go.
Oh, like a halfway house, almost like
like she's staying at a restricted environment.
Oh,
and she was kind of giving me a very irrational vibes.
Yeah, she was like all over the place.
She was.
With the different hair color.
So chaotic. So chaotic. But yeah, that was all in all. I just wanted to ask you a couple of those things. And I really liked this though. Good recommendation, Paris.
Yeah.
I would definitely watch it again and I would recommend other people to watch it for sure. Really good one.
But yeah, it does sound when you hear the title and the year and Jim Carrey.
And even the title cover. I was like, this looks so dumb.
But yeah, it was
good. So good.
All right. Well, that is it for episode 8. So next week's watch list for the show, we are watching The Summer I Turned Pretty, which was recommended by Gabby. The Bike Riders, which is on Peacock. And then The Union, which is on Netflix.
And as always, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. Have a great week and we'll see you next week. Bye. Bye.